How to mix colors if you're a complete beginner painting in acrylics. How to mix all the colors you need for painting. And what colors should you start with? Hello, my name is Susanna Pataki. I'm an artist. I love colors and love combining them to create stunning images. Today, we look at color mixing. To keep it simple, we start with as little as possible, just 3 primary colors, and create as much as possible with them. By the end of the video, you will know what are the primary colors, how to mix secondary and tertiary colors out of them, and you will know how to make up your own color wheel, one that actually works, not like the one you printed off the internet, which has nothing to do with the actual colors that you have at home. So, I also show you how to make lighter tints and darker tones, and I suggest you get your colors ready because it is best if you do the exercise right away. You learn to paint by painting. Make sure you stay with me till the end when I show you exactly how to get the mixture right without frustration and without wasting tubes of paint. We start with primary colors. So get your primary yellow, primary blue and primary red and a generous size paper palette or watercolor paper. Primary colors give us a nice range as you begin mixing them. To keep your color mixing organized, it helps if you make a circle and divide it into 2 triangles to make a grid, just like so. Squeeze a blob of yellow, a blob of red, and a blob of blue on your paper, equidistant, so they make an equilateral triangle. Now you start making the secondary colors. Out of the yellow and red, you can make orange. And out of yellow and blue, you get green. So take some of your yellow, add it to the 2 adjacent tips of the star. One will be the base for the orange, the other will be the base for the green. Then you clean your knife. Wipe it. This is the key to having beautiful crisp hues. So clean your palette knife before you pick up a new color each time. Now you can pick up the next primary color. I will work with red. I love red. So take a smaller blob of red, smaller than your yellow was. The correct ratio is never 1:1, because different pigments will have different tinting strengths. As a general rule, darker colors modify lighter ones very easily. So here you need much less red than yellow to mix a nice medium orange. Once you have the orange, you can move on to mixing your green. Same process, clean your knife, then pick up a smaller blob of blue, mix it with your yellow, and there you go. It should look something like this, which is a medium green. I call it a Lego green. Now you have 2 secondary colors ready, the orange and the green. The next one is purple or violet. To mix your purple, take a larger blob of red and a smaller blob of blue and mix them. You will get a very dark purple. It almost looks black on the camera here. These are the primary and secondary colors, but there are more colors to be found. So now let's move on to the tertiary ones. As you see, I left some space in between my primary and secondary colors. That's where the tertiary colors go. You mix up one primary with the secondary color that's next to it. Make sure you clean your knife before moving on to the next color. Once you have filled out the whole color wheel, like so, you have a super useful reference chart that shows you all the colors that you can mix with your set of primary colors if you use them pure, that is, without adding any white or any other color. But what you see here is still not the full range. In fact, these purples are very dark. They won't fit for painting any of the flowers that you know as purple. And the greens and oranges are crazy vibrant. So chances are, to get the right hue for a painting, you need to modify these further. So let's see how you can mix the full range. You can mix pastel tints by adding white, like so. Warning! Clean your knife between colors. And you can also create darker, more muted colors by adding a pinch of a complementary. That is a color from the opposite side of the wheel. So, if your orange is too loud, you can add a bit of blue. If your green is going crazy, add a pinch of red. If your yellow is too much in your face, add a pinch of purple. If any of these are still too dark, you can lighten them further with white. Adding more white makes them lighter and also less vibrant. So just be aware, every new mix will diminish the vibrancy of the previous colors. Ready-made printout color wheels will never show you the exact hues of your own paints, but this messy finger-painted color wheel is the perfect reference for all the possible color combinations you can make. Bonus, have you ever ended up with a big blob of all the wrong color on your palette? Well then, this is the way to avoid it. I show you how to mix colors, 2 colors to start with, without wasting tubes of paint. So start with a small blob of color on one side of the palette, and the modifying color too on the other side, and leave enough space in between where you can mix the new colors, not just one hue, not just one mixture, but several. Take your knife and scrape away a small part to a clean area on the palette. Here, the secret is to start with the lighter color. If you want orange, start with a good portion of yellow and add a tiny bit of red. Mix it with the knife or with a finger and see if it's what you wanted. If it's too light or too yellow, you scrape away half the mixture and add another speck of red. You repeat the process until you get the right mixture, so you don't ever just keep adding the modifying color to the whole blob. You repeat the process. This is why I told you to have enough space between the two. If it's still not orange enough, you repeat. Scrape away half the mixture and add another speck of red. Never try to mix a new color using the entire blob of paint. Now, instead of having a big blob of the wrong mixture on your palette and having run out of one color or both that you started with, now you have 5 different hues. You have the yellow that you started with, the red you started with, and 3 different mixtures in between. When you paint, and I mean impressionistic painting, which is what I love most, it is a good practice to add a wider range of the same color. For most artworks, you need more than just one version of a color. This is how you fine-tune your color mixing to get the exact hue you want, and at the same time end up with a few extras that can make your artwork more interesting. I recommend a medium-sized palette knife that is easy to handle and that will not mix the whole blob all at once, but it mixes enough for you to work with. This is the knife I generally use for mixing colors on the palette. Don't use anything too small or too big. Don't mix your colors with a brush. This is a big no-no. Mix them with a palette knife because that will help you keep the mixture on the palette, because you want to use those colors to paint with instead of filling up all the space in between the hairs of your brush. Now go and do likewise. Create your own color wheel. Use it as a reference chart when you are painting. If you found this video useful and would like to see more, hit the follow button right here.